Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us again today. This is our mic check. If you can see us, if you can hear us, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We will start promptly at 3 o'clock, and immediately following today's COVID-19 update, we will go into a town hall meeting with Lawanna Vaughan from Elections, County Executive Ted Rumley, and Trenton City Mayor Alex Case.
Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing good today. Kind of gloomy out there. I'll go ahead and start by, we've had some complaints on our burn pit over here, just a few, and I want people to kind of bear with us on it. We do have a lot of hauling in over there today through tomorrow from the state, and also Billy's group too. We try to narrow that down to two days a week as far as the burning goes. And so just bear with us at least another week on it, so we can wrap it up by the end of, maybe by this time next week or by the end of next week anyway. So just bear with us on that, because there was a lot of debris that you couldn't see from the road. People had a lot of damage in behind their houses, behind their buildings, and they're doing their best to get that out, and we're doing the best we can to pick it up in a timely manner. Has some complaints also on the mowers that's been mowing on the state highway. These people, it's the first year they've had a contract. They've had this contract with the state in Dade County. They've mowed the interstate, and now they're coming down 11. And these men, I've talked to them a couple of times. They've had a lot of stuff, a lot of debris in the road, a lot of stuff that they've been actually bush hogging off the side, pulling it in. I mentioned, I think yesterday about the lookout. Man, we had some issues at the north end yesterday, and one this morning in the south end. So they have on the side of their trucks, it says Yellowstone. So if you got any problems with them, just give me a call. I can contact the state, and I don't know whether they're just a new contractor or whether they also, we had some complaints about signage also. You're supposed to have signs warning you of the mowers. They've been stretched out for a long way before the signage coming up on them. So anyway, just kind of keep in mind that is happening on the U.S. Highway 11 right now, north and south, and just keep your awareness up for them. Let's see here, in the Cloudland Canyon, I mention that every day because that is a concern on people's minds, and that's there's still 150 cars. Of course, during the week they don't have a problem, but from Friday through Sunday, they have had to close the park down a few times. Then they open it back up. And they're keeping close monitoring on that. They do have help from the DNR, the enforcement people out there, as we've mentioned, so that's good. Also on the lineman school, they have came back in yesterday, and I think they were full force today. But I did mention yesterday David Powell, which is the owner of the facility there. He will be with us tomorrow. He'll give us an update on what's going on, and how things are going. From what I understand, things are going real smoothly as far as the testing and all that goes. But he'll give you more details on that. We do have Alex will brief you on this Thursday. As we've mentioned the last few days, actually will be some testing going on. We'll have our own testing facility there with the swab testing there at the full fields. Now, Alex can give you more details on that. That'll be done by the health department, and there'll be no charge for that. But you just need to follow the directions as far as how to go, how to notify them, and he'll have the number and all you can call. Also, the Lawson Medical on the square here, they're doing the antibody test. You have that number posted, Carrie? Their website, okay. Carrie has that website on our site, and you can go on there, and that's right here at home. Also, they're still doing that over in Lafayette, and that is, from what I understand, they do take insurance, and I'm not sure about the Lawson Medical Group. I'd say probably they do, but you need to really find out. I'll try to find out about tomorrow, but they are taking the insurance there over at the clinic there at Walmart, or right next to Walmart in Lafayette. And we mentioned also the last few days, or since last week, our county offices, we are back open. We do have different rules that we ask people to follow as far as the mask and wearing the mask and washing your hands. We've got hand sanitizer table set up out front, and we do, if you don't have a mask, we do have some masks that we will issue you. The ballot box, we've got a ballot box that we're fixing to install out front where you can bring your absentee ballots, and without coming in the building or up to the window, you'll be able to come up and drop those off 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We hope to have that installed by tomorrow evening, and if everything goes smooth, and that'll help as far as, I'm not sure we're going to be able to man it where you can just drive up with a car. I believe we can. I believe just drive up and drop it off. If not, you can park and just take a couple of steps up and deposit it. So just bear with us on that. If you have any violations report as far as the distancing, people maybe violating the order, it's 1-844-442-2681. Okay, let me move into my report. As far as our numbers go, we did increase one from yesterday. We went from 15 to 16. That means we've got 4 active cases because we do have the 11 that we can actually deduct from that, or call it what you want, because of these 11 here were actually cases that possibly had happened back months ago. Walker County, they went from 60 to 61. Catoosa County, they stayed the same at 51. Chattooga County, they're at 15, same. Whitfield County went from 120 to 128. Gordon County, 114 to 116. Floyd County, 149 to 150. Bartow County, 329 to 345. So Bartow's still increasing pretty heavily there. There's still 712 in unknown counties, so there's still a lot out there. It seems like that varies, and it seems like it goes up and down every day. In Tennessee, in Hamilton County, they went from 172 to 180 confirmed cases. That's with 91 recoveries, 13 deceased. Marion County, they stayed the same at 29. They've had 24 recovered. Grundy County, they stayed the same at 28. They've had 23 recover. Sequatchie County stayed the same. They're five cases, and also they've had 5 recover. Medge County went from 9 to 10, and they've had 4 recover. Bradley County, 53 to 56. They've had 44 recovered, 1 deceased. And totally in Tennessee, they've had 219 deaths. Compared to Georgia, we've had 12,258 deaths. So that's a pretty big difference. Alabama, Jackson County, they stayed the same at 50. DeKalb County, they went from 79 to 90. So some counties are they are increasing more so, but we kind of feel that it's kind of leveling off, and as we do more tests, as we've mentioned before, their numbers are going to vary. They're going to change. Probably will go up. But we got Alex is going to come up and he's going to give his report. But we've got the elections. We're fixing to go into our little town hall meeting, as we call it. Today we're going to be, with Lawanna, which is over elections, and she'll be answering questions. And pretty much, hopefully we got, if you just be thinking while we're talking, and we've got a lot of questions that's already been asked, but if there's anything just on your mind that might be out there that you just really don't know hard, be sure to try to ask, because that's what these things are going to be about in the next few weeks. That'll happen on Tuesday. We'll not only do our update, but we're going to go into these little town hall meetings, and hopefully that'll be of help to you. Alex, you want to come on in?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alex Case, Director of Dade County Emergency Services and Executive Rumley. Advise we will have our first in-county swab testing this Thursday, May the 7th, at between 9 and 4 p.m. And it'll be at a Dade County Sports Complex at 9622 Highway 11 South. And you will enter at the original entrance of the sports complex when it was the original 4 fields. You'll come into the parking lot, turn back to the right, down beside the tennis courts, and then you'll bear left along the other side of the tennis courts down towards the senior building, and we'll have a check-in station there at one of the new pavilions that was built for you to be checked in, and then you'll drive on down the end of the parking lot and turn in front of the senior building. We'll have tents and all set up. The nurses will actually come out, do your swab, then you exit out the entrance that I guess we call the south entrance that goes into the football fields, the soccer fields, and Dade County Head Start. So we'll have signage and stuff there. Public Health has signage. We'll have some signage as well. We'll be down, EMA will be there with logistics to help out with anything's needed. I want to apologize to Stacy Stevens, our director down there. I forgot to advise him, and he called me this morning, and we worked out the plan. The park will still be open for our walkers or anybody that's in the facility. A lot of the walking, you'll still be able to park anywhere along the original parking entrance of the front of the park. It's just that south side along the tennis courts, basketball park, down to the restrooms and turning in front of the senior building will be occupied for just minimal amount of time. Again, the quickest way for this testing is for you to call 706-802-5329. You'll call this number. It's from 8:30, I believe, to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and it's from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon on Saturdays. To fill out this information by phone, you will be giving a testing number for you or multiple people of your family. And then when you pull up to that testing center and you have that number, they're going to check you off and you proceed on down to the testing. If you do show up without calling this number, you will have to pull off to an area. We'll have an area where you'll pull off, circle back around and get in, or we'll work that logistics out with them depending on the distance, but you'll have to fill some type of paperwork out. They will be shut down promptly at 4 p.m. because all the testing equipment will have to be it's packaged up and carried straight to Walker County area where the public health where it will be sent off for testing. Again, it'll be this Thursday, May the 7th, and it'll be next Thursday, May the 14th. Please take some time to call. You have till 8:30 or 7 p.m. every evening this week to call, and please visit our website at dadecounty-ga.gov. Go under the COVID hot topic, it's on the bottom, and then go down to the testing site. It is called Testing Information for Dade County. Again, I actually had to run some pick up some more supplies and stuff today, and took some time to run to Catoosa County and went into the areas and looking at another county the way it's doing, it was the same practices I've seen here, and it's very good that everybody's taking that time throughout to wear the mask and to social distance. And the store we went to, we walked up and they had an area where we could just talk through the door, got the disinfectant supplies for the guys, and then it was just good to see and get out of the county for a little bit. I've been kind of keeping ourselves in the county besides going out to see a few my family and stuff. So it was good to get out for a little bit and see that things were doing. Actually, seen some of the, I guess, turning our hat into the storm damage and seeing some of the counterparts of Catoosa County that took the damage on Highway 2. So again, please take time to do this if you really thinking you have those things, and take the time to call the number to get registered. This afternoon, actually, as we're moving in now, we're under a slight risk for some thunderstorms popping up this evening and later into the night. We're on there's a cold front moving in from the northwest, moving east at us right now. We had some storms earlier yesterday evening or morning and a few days before. These storms are going to be spotty and broken up. They're not going to be as strong as what we've seen the last few days. So, as always, continue to monitor our local weather. And remember, also on our website, we have community and weather notification, which is HyperReach. It's a free login, and it's an app also available. And it'll notify you if we have thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. We did have a few folks, one in the past, that had some issues, and we had it again. If you've signed up and you did not receive the information by text, email, or phones, please give us a call at 706-657-4111. A couple issues is inside their software. I can look and see based off your cell phone number or your address if you've signed up. Then I can also look at the reports versus when it was called out and search the number. Don't tell me who it is. It just tells me a number is either yes, signed up, or not. So we appreciate the few that have called us and let us know and resolve that issue. I believe that's all I have. I guess one question or questions.
We do have a question, one for you, and then a couple for County Executive Rumley. The one for you, Mayor Case, is do you know if the city pool will open this summer?
We are working, Commissioner Powell, Director Ronnie Page over Parks and Rec, and the whole city. That's one of the things that we're waiting to see next week, which the next levels for opening up Georgia. The governor has mentioned this last week that May 13th may be another step towards opening up more public facilities. With opening that facility, we're sure there's going to be some limitations to do that, and we want to see what that is. We are preparing if that is open for public swimming pools, because that was a question we asked our Georgia Municipal Group, and if it is, and what those restrictions are and how we can prep to do that. So we're planning every day. We're waiting till next week to see what that next step is. It'll be the same thing about the playground equipment at both of our county and city parks. What's the best way to open for that? And also our civic center. That's a big thing that we're getting calls on all the time. We've had a lot of and we've had to return the deposits and a lot of cancellations through folks on certain things. But again, it's the effort we're in. But we're going to make every effort and stride to make sure we can, once those limitations come out and we understand them well and we make the decision. But prepping for opening the pool before we commit with the supplies, the treatments, and the snacks and stuff, we want the concrete answer from way the governor's going to give us. So that's what we're waiting on.
Here are our next questions. Can you talk about seniors being sheltered in place and how long that's going to last and what that means they can and cannot do?
Well, the seniors, as far as, it's not only seniors, but it's anyone that would be, has a medical condition, like lung problems or whatever, that is more gullible for this, this disease. And as far as the seniors, as long as if you feel like getting out and want to go, buy groceries or whatever, a lot of your grocery stores are opening earlier. They're giving that first hour to seniors. Go get your groceries and come home. if you feel, safe, yourself as far as going and, having your hair fixed, your beauty shop or whatever. Of course, some of them are open, some of them are not. I don't know of any of the barber shops. I'm not sure whether, I think maybe one of our barber shops is open, but anyway. But feel free to, go do that, there and back. It just don't feel, it's just telling you that you don't really need to get out in groups. If you go to church, that's your, use common sense. That's, you know what you can do and what you can't do. You know how you feel, but it's not, they're not going to arrest you or anything if you get out and do it. You use your own judgment. Yeah.
Okay. And is there still brush pickup in Dade County?
Yes, there will be. We'll be picking brush all the way up through next week. Probably the next couple of weeks. We're going to try to wind it down either toward the end of next week or into the next week. We're just trying to work with people because some people don't have help except maybe on weekends or whatever, to get their stuff out there. And so however long it takes, we're going to do it. But hopefully we can start winding down in the next week or two and cut down on their burning and all that. Yeah. And call us. I mean, we just you can keep in touch with me on my cell or at the office here or Carrie. If you have maybe you found another tree down or whatever. We'll work with you on it. And the state also, I mentioned that today. I think I did. They're wide open. They've got several trucks over here again, and off the state right away. And they're even picking up. There was a lot more damage on the interstate than we thought, than they thought. I think, and they've hauled several loads since yesterday over there. So. All right, we're going to move around here, and we're going to got a little table set up. We got Lawanna Vaughan here with our elections, and Alex is going to kind of narrate, and I'll be involved in it. But we'll try to answer any questions that you may have on the elections. And if you don't have questions, if you listen, you may have some answer that you hadn't even thought about some things. So we're going to move right over here, and we'll be right with you.
Ready?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
No, it didn't. It never was off.
Well, she covered it up.
Okay.
She had it covered up, so I was
Okay.
waiting for her to
Okay.
say. I'm sorry, I didn't miss the cue. Again, everybody, welcome again. It's Tuesday in our election, May the 5th for our town hall. Tuesdays we're trying to work out with a lot of things coming up and with so much things changing in the election dates. We thought we would have this to work on some things. Again, we got Lawanna Vaughan. She's our election superintendent for Dade County, and she works directly with the Secretary of State and all the divisions, and we've had a lot of things come up with the new machines that were actually going out this time with the election. They've been working hard in this office, in this room, and her office is right behind us here. And the extra poll workers we've had to do with all the mail-in ballots that we received a mail-in ballot. They had to verify every registered voter that sent a application back for a mail-in ballot. These ladies worked weeks out here while we were doing some of our live COVID updates. They were in the background working over here with all the register cards. So we thank all the workers through Lawanna's office and the ladies and men that's made that happen. We're going to go over some dates and stuff that's coming up. A lot of these dates have been changed, and we got some questions that we've been kind of keeping tabs of that we're going to go over, and we'll take turns about, or if we make sure we answer it right. That's why Miss Lawanna is here to keep that right for us. But as of right now, if you have not registered to vote, you have till May 11th, which is this Monday. You can come down to the elections office at 71 Case Avenue here in the Dade County Administration Building. Or you also can go online to the Georgia Secretary of State.
They're also outside our door.
The what?
They're also outside of our door.
It's outside of the door. The applications to register to vote is outside the door here to the administration office. You can fill that information out and put it in, or you can go online and do it as well through the Georgia Secretary of State, and you go to elections and register to vote. So again, May 11th right now for the presidential preference primary. You may hear it referred to as the PPP, but that is what is happening for our June 9th election for the primary. But starting May the 18th, early voting will take place here in the Dade County Administration Building for 3 weeks, starting the 18th, Monday through Thursday from 8 till 5, and then Fridays from 8 until 2. And then we have one Saturday that will be
May 30th,
May the 30th,
9 to 4.
and it'll be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, that election right now that we're calling the presidential preference primary, and the general primary election. You have to, is all of them elections, the
Yes.
nonpartisan general election and the
All of it.
special election. It's all in one ballot. And so that, again, if you haven't registered to vote, then you have till this Monday to get that taken care of.
So Monday's the last day to register.
Yes,
For-
Monday at 5 p.m.
That's it, at 5 p.m. After that, no more registration.
Right.
People need to remember, because you
That's-
always have people come in after that,
Until the November election.
and they
Yep.
get mad, kind of get mad about it.
Right.
There's a couple more times to register for the other elections as well, isn't there?
Yeah, they're
Yep.
listed after that,
Yep.
July 13th.
So, starting Monday, May the 18th, your early voting from 8 to 5 will be in this building Monday through Thursday until 2 p.m. on Fridays. Some of the questions we'll go over is, right now, is where do I vote? On the May 18th, you will vote for 3 weeks straight for all precincts of Dade County, right here in the Dade County Administration Building.
Yes.
And on June the 9th, the election day, we have 7 precincts throughout the county. So those
It's
precincts,
open 7 to 7
and it'll be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
on election day.
Election day, June the 9th.
Yes.
Yep. So those precincts that we have is West Brow Precinct. It's at the West Brow Community Center at 131 Griffin Road, Lookout Mountain, Georgia. The New Salem Precinct will be the New Salem Community Center at 12477 Highway 136. The North Dade Precinct will be the Wildwood Community Center at 63 Lawanna Drive, Wildwood, Georgia. Then the Trenton Precinct will be the Dade County Administration Building, here where we're at 71 Case Avenue, Trenton, Georgia. The New Home Precinct will be the New Home Community Center at 3565 New Home Road. The Davis Precinct will be White Oak Baptist Church and Life Center at 5491 Highway 301 North, Trenton, Georgia. Then the South Dade Precinct will be at the South Dade Community Center at 263 School Street, Rising, Vaughan, Georgia. So that's our 7 precincts that we've got.
And they're all on our website, which is behind you.
Yep, so those locations, addresses, and zip codes will be on our website at dadecounty-ga.gov. So one of the other questions is, how do we know if we're a registered voter or one?
You can go to the MVP page on the county website.
Yep, so our county website, it's the MVP, it stands for, I looked earlier and I done forgot. My Voting Precinct, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
And that's through the Secretary of State, but it's the direct link off there. I even tried it a little while ago. You put in your first initial, your last name, and your date of birth, and you submit it, and then it'll tell you everything you need to know, even the location where you vote, all the sample ballots, several things that it has there for it.
Yeah. Also remember too, if you haven't voted, how many years, your name's removing from the
Two
list.
presidential preference, or 2 presidential.
So if you've
elections.
missed, if you've missed 2 presidential elections,
That'd be
even though you
2
think
years.
you're registered, you're not, you need to come back and redo it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had some questions about that a few years ago. Some people got mad about it, and they didn't understand why their name was not on there, but you need to check it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why it takes it easy, or they can also call the office here
Yes.
at 706-657-8170, or 706-657-HELP. And it'll go through. When you get to the elections office, just press the number and it'll take you to it. A couple questions I've been asked out in the fields. What I do if I've moved from Walker County to Dade County, or vice versa, or from other counties and states throughout to Dade County? How do they do to make sure they're registered to
You
vote?
basically fill out the same form, voter registration form, which is outside our doors, or Secretary of State's website, or the Dade County website.
Yep.
It's the same form to register and to change your address.
Change your address physically, and I think what I noticed on the website, you had to have your driver's license. I guess they verify that. I didn't step through the process, but it has some things for it, I believe.
Or you can change your driver's license or your voter registration when you get your
To driver's license that renewed to your
Yes.
county, yep. All right. All right, here's the hardest question I think we've seen of everything. Can we please explain the difference between the types of ballots? And in this presidential preference primary, general primary election, nonpartisan, general election, and special election that we're starting to do May the 18th and on June 9th, you have to choose one of the parties for local, federal, and everything to vote.
Yes.
Which is Republican Party, a Democrat Party, or nonpartisan.
Yes.
So most of all of our local elections, or all of the local elections for Dade County are all Republicans.
Yeah. Except for the nonpartisan, which would be our judges.
Our judges, okay. But if I walked in and said I'm a Democrat, I would not be able to vote.
You would not see anything local other than our judges.
Yeah, so everyone has to remember that you've got to pick the party, what you want to vote for this time. Now, that is not the same that will happen in November 3rd.
Right, in November you can pick and choose.
Yep, so
It won't be a straight.
that is
vote.
a big question. So please remember that we have to pick that party. All of our local officials that are running in Dade County are all
On the Republican.
Republican ticket, and then that's what you have to vote for. Then you can make the other decision between the parties in November.
And they can also vote, though, the only thing that could vote on would be, like the questions, right?
Yeah, they
You know,
will be
you
on
just-
any ballot.
Any ballot you choose.
Yeah.
But as far as the voting, and the reason being is just like they said, there's no one that's running as a Democrat.
Right.
If there'd been one or two running as a Democrat, whether it be school or whatever, then yeah, you would have.
There's no
but-
one
but
running locally.
There's no one running local.
There's state and
That's right.
federal on the
That's
Democratic
right,
ballot,
yeah.
but nothing
Yeah.
local.
Nothing local.
Right.
So it's a tough decision when you come in here and make. And if you want to check if you're a registered voter, every ballot for those three parties are there.
Yes.
So you can decide and see the difference of them.
They are.
We'll have that link is on our website.
Yep.
So please remember that. And will they include the primary, the presidential primary? They will, depending on if it's the Democrat or the Republican or the nonpartisan.
If they didn't vote in the presidential preference, that will be on their ballot, but if
Yeah.
they voted early, it will not
Okay.
be on there.
Yep, and then we talked about the same for the local ballots there.
Yes.
One of the things that I know concerns you, and you brought it to us during the pandemic of the COVID and the flus, and a lot of the poll workers and these great volunteers that come out, they are paid for with the budget that y'all work in. But some of our poll workers are the 65 and older, and some have been concerned about that. And I know you've been concerned yourself, and you brought that to us, and we worked on that. If somebody wanted to become a poll worker, what would they need to do, and are you still needing some poll workers to
They are
assist?
still needing a few, and they would just call our office and speak to Carolyn Hickson,
Yep.
or they could speak to anyone in there, and we could get the information to Carolyn.
Yep. And there is online training to do with this.
We are gonna do online training this time.
And again, this will be the biggest reason for the poll workers will be the 3 weeks that we have for early voting starting May 18th. And then we have all precincts for those 12 hours on all 7 locations throughout the county where we have to distribute that out and have that. And one of the things that the concern again with the COVID is our preparation for the safety of those workers, your workers in all these 7 precincts, what we're doing to keep the distancing that will be in there, whatever that standard will be, and the practices that we're gonna do in preparation, especially your new machines, how the state has put a strict criteria for you of how to clean it. They have supplied with some funding for that. The personal protective gear for them that we're all working on to help you with that. They also have provide funding for that. And every week we're getting something in for that. Again, when you go to the polls for the early voting and into the precincts, it's going to be different, especially with the new machines. And that's what I thought was really neat, watching y'all certify some of those machines. Was it last week?
Last week.
And there was some
LNA
state LNA testing. Yeah. And I got to come in and feed some of the ballots into the machine. So once it's more or less a touch screen computer.
It is.
And once you get your part, you'll still have the same key that you get, like the credit card key that slides in, and it'll bring up what you are and your ballot. Then even once you step through it, and I guess you cast your ballot,
You hit print.
it'll print an actual printed ballot.
That you can look at, make sure it's correct.
Yeah. Then your ballot key comes out, and you actually put that printed ballot into a machine,
To a scanner.
and it scans it in,
Yes.
and does this little thing, and you hear it drop.
Right. That's when you've actually voted.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good sized little box.
It is.
It's on rollers. One of the logistics you've had to do, you've got to rent some trucks with the Tommy lifts on them
Yes.
and get them out before voting, and you got to get them all back in. So Lawanna has been working hard. She is a sweet, sweet lady, and she loves what she does, and we appreciate you and your department's work. I know you've got a lot of hard workers back there.
We do.
Those ladies that were out here every day listening to us, they just kept working, pulling those cards by hand, and
They did.
had their gloves on and checking every one of those mail-in or registered for mail-in ballots.
But we need to stress to people too, you're talking about safety and how much, that is being put in this. People don't need to be scared to come in here and vote.
No,
No, really, you don't need them, because it's gonna be really a
it is.
whole safe atmosphere here, It's not like any time you've ever voted before, but, you're welcome to vote, absentee or whatever, but don't let that keep you home that day from voting. Because we're taking all the precautions you can ever imagine as far as cleanliness and all that, and so, try to get out and vote. It's, regardless of who you vote for.
That's some of the equipment I picked up today that I mentioned earlier was
Yeah.
the disinfectant sanitizing spray that is a hospital grade, medical grade. We're constantly spraying after hours, during the day, in the common areas, the handles, all the lobbies of the offices. We're constantly going through with this spraying material to help. And then our janitorial service ladies, we have a full-time and a part-time. Them ladies are working hard behind the scenes to keep everything wiped, the handles. We do have the automatic door on the front, and we will continue to provide the hand sanitation and mask if people come in. That's stuff we're doing to make sure you're safe into the building here. Lawanna, what if I signed up to get my absentee ballot? I've got my ballot, but I don't want to use it. Can I still come in and vote on the 3 weeks through the machines?
Yes, you can. Bring your ballot with you and surrender it when you get to the place.
So you have to bring it, surrender it.
Yes.
But if I don't surrender it, I can't vote?
You'll have to sign an affidavit that
Okay.
you've not voted that ballot. They'll have to check with our office to make sure we haven't received it, and then you'll be permitted to vote.
Okay, so that'll be checked off when we come in.
Yes.
Yeah, because that was a lot of things, because I mentioned that as well. But I can still, as Ted mentioned earlier, we've got a drop box that's getting built. I actually seen it today too. It looks good. The guys it was a used one we come across with some help from someone.
Our library.
Our library.
Thanks to them. Yep.
I'm trying to think of the name. Lisa Eubanks
Lisa, yep.
helped us with that.
Her and Marshana. Yep.
And Marshana Sharp. They were remodeling a library and had one, and there was 2 guys down there sanding and pressure washing and getting it ready, and I think we've got signage going on it, and so, but I can still, and I went over that mail-in ballot, you can still drop it off,
Yes. Once we get the ballot box.
once we get the ballot box, and that can start, at any time the ballot box is out.
49 days ahead of the election.
Okay,
So
the
we should be
June-
well in with that.
Yeah, the June 9th, date. And we went over that ballot, when you get that envelope, and you take it out and read it. I demonstrated it for you that day.
You did good.
Thank you. But we got to remind everybody that the second envelope they talk about that's inside the pamphlet is just a folded half a sheet of paper that says official absentee ballot.
Yes.
You mark all the things, yes or no, verify information, put that in a ballot, and you shove it in that official
Yes.
envelope with the yellow on the side. You sign the back of it. Or if I'm assisting someone, I have to witness it, let them
Yes.
attest to that. And you can either mail it with the correct postage. Do we know how much is a single stamp doing it? Do we know?
No, it cost me 65 cents to mail out. I'm
Okay.
not quite sure what it cost to mail
Okay,
back.
so it's about probably 2 stamps,
Yeah.
or take it to the post office. Or, once we get that done, and again, the ballot box preparation of the Secretary of State that sent that to you, and then you run over here to us, there's a lot of stipulations that is required to do that, is 24/7 camera
Yes.
of the ballot box. It has to be weather permitting, weatherproof. And you have, once it's in, every so many hours, you have to pull those ballots
Every
out.
24 hours.
Every 24 hours, so once a day, when you and, I guess your witness goes out there and gets them and does it. And then we have to maintain that footage for 30 days after the election.
Yes.
So we've made preparations in our security cameras here from the Dade County Sheriff's Office that has them on the outside. We have a system inside this building. We're gonna see it from 2 views, from 2 different systems. So we'll have that preparation in. So
Sounds good.
it seems like when these things changing, they throw all of it back to us, and we gotta scramble to get it done.
They do.
And with the pandemic, you've had to order more tables, with some of the grant money that the Secretary of State is doing, your personal protective gear, and what we call
The shield.
the shields for the people. When you come in, I guess our preliminary plan we come in is you'll have double tables in here in this office and the precincts that you'll have to sit down and do your work, and you'll work through a table about this distance, at least
Yes.
6 foot between you, the poll worker, and the person that's voting and all that, so. All right, let's see,
Have some questions.
okay, so I guess we're ready for some questions. I think we hit about everything.
We did.
I think so, and I guess some other dates we'll go over. If there is a runoff, the runoff would be August 11th for any of the parties that is in the presidential preference primary, nonpartisan, general, special runoff, elections, and local and state. If you have the runoff, you will have to July the 13th to register to vote for
Only
that.
in federal.
Only in federal, okay.
Yeah, if you look, it says federal.
Federal offices only, so
Yes.
that's it. So if you didn't get it by May 11th, you're still out for the
Until
August.
the November.
All right. Then our general election from that runoff would be November 3rd.
Yes.
So what about registering for that? Is that still October
October
5th for
5th.
all of it?
Yes, that'll be
Okay.
for November.
So if you didn't make the May 11th, you can't vote for a runoff
Right.
if you haven't registered, but you still would have to October 5th
Yes.
for what we call the general election and special election, which will be
Yes.
May 3rd. Then, if we have a runoff,
It's still October 5th,
be October 5th.
unless it's the federal.
Yep, and then you have that to be the December runoff.
Yes.
Then, if we have another runoff,
If there's a federal runoff, it'd be the next one, the January 5th.
then you'd have the December the
Yeah.
7th, and January 5th. And I think this is something that is good to know as the county commission and the city commission is here, is that we have to budget for this, because we don't know. And we budgeted for this last year
Yes.
for our 2020 budget. So that's one of the things that, when we've said in our budget hearings, and you come out here, and I've heard you tell the commission and show them and see, I think it's good to know that we don't know if that's gonna happen, and we have to prepare for it in the county budget for the early voting of all these. If we do that, we have to have early voting for each runoff.
Yes, we do.
So that's 3 weeks for early voting, or
Yes, 3
and
weeks.
then the day itself, and that's somebody here those 3 weeks, and you have a minimum of how many people
We
each
have a
day?
minimum of 3, but since they've added new equipment, they've also added more
More.
people.
Yep, so,
So between 4 and 5 at the least.
yep, so that's a big thing for the budget when we do that on these big election years,
Yes.
especially, every 4 years then.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, so Ms.
Ready for
Carey, we'll go
questions?
to our questions.
So, Phoebe wants to know, what if you didn't put your ballot inside the white piece of paper? What happens?
Nothing. It'll get put in the white piece of paper once we pull the ballot out of the envelope.
What if you threw the mail-in ballot away because you were planning to go to the poll, but now you want to vote by mail?
Absentee.
They'll need to fill out another application and sign an affidavit that they threw that ballot away.
And those are available, on our website?
They can actually just write something out and sign it and get it to me.
Okay.
There's not an affidavit.
But
printed
they have to do it
affidavit.
pretty quick.
Yeah, I need it as soon as possible.
But is there a date?
Is there a
cut
date
off?
where you stop
Actually, we
that?
can mail all the way up to June 5th.
Oh,
You gotta
June.
remember, these are coming from Atlanta, not from me.
Okay.
And you have to have time to get it from them, fill it out, return it to me by election day.
So that's pretty standard, even if you voted absentee. If you choose to vote absentee, you have that deadline to get an absentee ballot.
Yes, back.
Yep.
June the 5th.
To get it back, you have until election day, which would be June 9th.
Okay.
The last day I can mail a ballot is June 5th.
June 5th to be mailed out.
Right.
Yep.
But you gotta remember, it's coming from
From
Atlanta, not
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so it had to be in quite a bit earlier, so yes.
Right.
Call the office, or you have to call the office or get the application here to do
You can
it?
get the application outside the door.
Yep.
It's on the county website, or you can call here.
Okay.
Okay, the next question is there a possibility that we will not have enough volunteers to man all 7 precincts for the primary elections in June?
As of right now, we have enough at this moment.
But it's always good to have extras
It
that can
is.
help. Yep.
Okay.
to
So if
have
you're
that.
interested, please give Ms. Lawanna a call.
Okay. And Commissioner Rumley, this one was for you. If I'm over 65, can I still get out and vote with the shelter in place?
Yes, definitely, yeah. Just use common sense, wear your mask, and just take the precaution, because, like I said, this is gonna be a safe place in here. We're gonna make sure that it is, so whether you're 65 or 18 or whatever, I mean, it's gonna be a place that you can feel safe coming in here to vote.
Okay. And the last question that we have from our viewers right now is, what if we already voted in the presidential primary? Can we still vote in this election?
Yes, it just won't have the presidential primary on that ballot.
That's wonderful. Oh, wait, sorry, we just got one more. Can I register since I recently moved and can't seem to get my license changed?
A first-time person can show a utility bill. There's several things that you can show, actually, and it'll be on that voter registration form.
Okay,
That's a good question. I
that's a
didn't know
great
that.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess on that, for their license, make sure, if they're moving from another state, they might be able to check with a DMV on their website to see what they can do. I still know they're doing a lot of online with the DMV, so.
You can register, but you'll still need that ID to actually vote. I mean, it'll just give them some time to register and then to get it before they come vote.
And if you had to, though, if it came down to it, and you didn't have your driver's license, they can issue you a
Provisional.
yeah.
We can do
Well,
a provisional.
I'm talking about in the driver's license. You can get an ID, a state issued ID, and you would have to accept that rather than driver's
Yeah.
license, right? Yeah.
You can show your passport.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah, I
they
mean,
didn't
if they
have,
got a
yeah,
passport,
if they didn't have a
that'll
passport,
work
but
just
just say that they were having problems, their license, all they gotta do is go to a driver's license, here over at Rock Springs, and they'll issue you an ID. So if that's a problem, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, hopefully they'll let us know when they're gonna be opening them back up as well.
I feel, tomorrow they're
Yeah.
supposed to let me know. I think it's gonna be Monday, next Monday.
Well, and you can see, here's a back thing of our website. This is dadecounty-ga.gov, and you scroll down to the bottom, we have our severe weather sign up, all of our COVID information, and then here's our vote 2020. And as you come up to this, you have all the precincts listed right here. West Brown, New Salem, North Dade, Trenton, New Home, Davis precincts. Here's elections office, Lawanna's office number, and her staff will be there. Here's the local elections from the commissioners, school board, tax commissioner, sheriff, all the different divisions that's currently on the ballot. Here is the 2020 state elections voting register calendar. And here's the link to the Secretary of State. And then here is that My Vote page, the MVP page. If you click on that link, it'll take you right straight to that page. And then also here is the absentee ballot application. So if you print that out, want to get it in to the office, and you could probably drop that by. We do have mailboxes sitting out front of when you come up to the administration building of 71 Case Avenue, we call it the upper floor between the Dade County Sheriff's Office and us. When you walk into the front of the building, Lawanna's office, the registrar's office is to the left, and we have drop boxes there for these applications. So again, this is our links right off our page. Please take time to use these, and this will help you for a quick link, so you don't have to turn around and search all that. So we appreciate Carrie and them keeping that up to date today, and working with Vaughan and her office keeping that going. So again, please call the office if you have any questions at 706-657-8170 for the registrar's office. And we have any more questions, Ms. Carrie? So we thank everybody for tuning in. Again, we will be back tomorrow with our COVID updates, and then next Tuesday we'll do the updates as quick and go into another town hall meeting. And stay tuned for what our topics will be. We're still lining up some folks to come in and talk about that. And again, please take time to vote your right, and what your vote does count. And I will say, as your vote does count, also your census count as well. Continue to think about our 2020 census. And please, if you have any questions, give us a call. Hope everyone has a great evening. Please continue to monitor the local weather the rest of this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you.